like there was like a period like a couple months ago where Andrew Tate was just posting pictures of himself with like anime girls.
Wait, really?
No.
I thought that was Elon's thing.
No, yeah, like shit like this basically.
Well, like the old like Facebook hover hand.
Yeah, literally.
Wait.
Oh, that's so funny.
These are real images. These aren't photoshopped either. He was posting these to his own
These
Twitter
aren't
account.
photoshopped.
No, well, you know what I mean.
No, these
God,
are real. Those are
these
his
real.
girls.
Yeah.
Where are these girls from? Are they like from like a dating sim?
I have no idea. They very well could just be like AI generated.
The first two kind of look like they'd be from like a gacha game or something.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
And the third one looks like something completely different.
yeah. You can tell because she doesn't have the anime legs.
She would have the anime legs.
Just him and his girl
What's his game here?
by his ride.
It's just like, oh yeah, super masculine guy with anime girls. I don't.
These are real?
These are real. Like let me see if I could find like the actual.
Andrew Tate loves the quintuplets. That's a quintuplets girl, right?
Is it?
I feel like this has
She
to be one of
looks
those
like it.
things
I think
where
it is.
like people
It
are
has, like, the
sending him
hair
shit
color.
or something.
Yeah. So
Like-
like,
Because I can't imagine unless he just like I don't know when he went to jail he just like went fucking insane.
Does Tate like anime?
probably not. I feel like this has to just be for attention, which we're now giving to him several months after the fact. But who cares?
Tate
your pivot.
believes that the art form of anime is only watched by losers.
I mean, checks
what was
out.
his end game here then? What did he mean by this? Is he just desperate?
Yeah, he tweeted, if you are over 15 and like cartoons, you are a loser. Anime, Dragon Ball Z, etc. No excuse. Plus, any woman loses respect for you. Grow up.
I guess it's fitting that he adds like the 15-year-old caveat then, because I can't see anyone taking him seriously above the age of 50. He's retweeting these things out, by the way. This is August 27th.
Oh, he replied to it saying
Yeah.
specifically anime. South Park is funny and Simpsons is fucked, but popular, whatever. Anime is for losers.
Oh, I'm glad that he added that caveat, because anime and cartoons are completely different. One's cool, the other is lame. Yeah, so what we're trying to say is, Andrew Tate, let us on your podcast. We'd love to come on and talk about
my
anime.
God.
Mhm.
Can we get Andrew Tate on the podcast next?
See, I feel like we need to balance. We had FD on, so now we just gotta get Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
and then
there
we'll
you
just
go.
Yes,
slowly
exactly.
swing the pendulum radically.
Yes,
And then Mr. Beast, he also likes anime. Yeah.
We just brand ourselves as the radical centrist anime podcast.
We bring on these controversial figures, but we will only talk about anime.
That's how you really bridge the gap.
So yeah,
Welcome to the Weeb Crew podcast. I'm your host, Psyotic. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mumi.
hi.
And our guest today is Inakyu.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure people know who you are, but for those who do not, what kind of channel do you have?
I like to say anime commentary, I guess, or vlogs. I don't really know, honestly. I want to just be a general anime channel. A lot of people know me from my takes and explanations on women and females in anime. I've kind of sort of, I don't know, I feel like there's like this weird connotation because I talk about gender in anime. There's like, I'm the femcel Annie-tuber, but like I'm not, I swear.
You gotta talk about something else. You gotta talk about
I mean, I'm now becoming the Gojo girl, which what's worse? Who knows?
I guess on the subject of content creation, I saw in one of your videos you said you went to film school.
I did.
You can kind of tell, I feel like, from your videos. Like I watched like the Gojo one you did, and like the little skit at the beginning. I feel you can tell. That feels very, very much like something that you would have to have gone
Have to know how
Like
to
the
use a camera for.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing YouTube, or like quote unquote doing YouTube. Like I've been posting and like a lot of random stuff since I was like little. I posted like the worst things, like One Direction things, and growing up, and eventually I was like, I really like making videos, and I told my parents I wanted to study film because that was the only thing that I knew that I was good at. And so I went to school, and the plan was to like for me to like move to LA after graduating, and then like trying to see like if I could do anything. And then COVID happened, and I started posting YouTube videos during the pandemic, and I made one video about anime, and now I'm an AniTuber. So
How do you so I guess to tie the film school back into anime, how do you feel like, do you think you learned quite a bit from like film school that you kind of apply to like anime consumption and like analysis?
oh yeah. I'm a very like active watcher, but I feel like anybody that like likes anime, well, maybe not. I don't know, because especially with like you need to read subtitles. I feel like if you watch anime, you're a much more active watcher than most people, I guess, because like you have to read it and like comprehend and like process what's going on, and like
you're a lot more like locked in.
Yeah.
I don't know if people necessarily use their brain outside of reading the subtitles sometimes.
But yeah, I'd say so. Storytelling is like, doesn't matter where, like, if it's like animated, if it's in a different language, making a good show or movie has definitely, I don't know, it's the same language to me.
There are some universal kind of things, definitely.
Yeah.
So well, you were an anime fan before you got into college, though.
Yes, I've been. I was doing the Naruto run in school and stuff. Like,
so did anime like influence your decision to go into film school at all?
I don't think so, but I think anime influenced me in how I tell stories, or if like I ever did like, I think it just influenced my taste in a lot of things. I watched, I don't know, outside of like growing up and watching Disney Channel or something, anime was like where I'd watch like Death Note, and that's like, it's pretty dark for like a middle schooler. It like stuff like Soul Eater and like all that stuff. Like that's where I was able to kind of like, I'm like, oh my god, this is writing in a way.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's like it's more serious than like I guess a lot of like, you know, media for like teenagers coming out in the US, but it's also not like, so it's not like something so serious, so intellectual that you would like kind of like lose your ability to understand it. Like I remember watching as a kid Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, that's my dad's favorite movie.
Yeah, I remember just not understanding anything about the movie or what the hell was going on. But I feel, you know, because like, well, with anime, you know, you can kind of have stuff that's more serious and then still be able to wrap your developing brain around what the like plot even is, or like the themes and ideas that it's trying to communicate. Whereas like, I don't know, if you showed like Come and See to an impressionable 14-year-old, they'd probably both be maybe bored and like just confused, and then probably be making really edgy jokes at like people being burned alive.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know. I guess it's like it was like the first type of, I guess, watching visual medium that like took its audience seriously that I watched, I guess. Yeah, instead of like laugh track.
This is when you laugh.
Yeah.
Family Guy cutaway gag.
Basically.
Well, anime is like it's interesting because like you get an anime and it is markedly different than Western media.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely like
Yeah.
kind of is going to present like a perspective that's disconnected from what you're going to encounter in your not only like your everyday life, but like in just general media that you're going to be consuming in the West.
Definitely. Like, I don't know, now that I think about it, it's like, would they show Chainsaw Man on like Toonami? Like,
It's
on,
so
like
funny you
Cartoon
say
Network, right?
that because I was in Walmart a while back, and Walmart has manga, quote unquote, but it's in like their
Mhm.
very, very small literature section. And it's just like Chainsaw Man is there. And it's in like just like this young adult thing, like young adult section. It's clearly very, very broad. It's like the media that's on there because, and I shit you not, Chainsaw Man was right next to the latest volume of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Wow.
Which is not only still coming out, that's surprising,
hey, both
but it's
are
also
geared towards young boys.
yes. But I feel like even then I remember like seeing like in like my local library once. There was just a copy of like the first volume of Berserk just sitting like next to like a copy of Yotsuba and being like, that's a bad idea. And I feel like as a moral responsibility as an adult, I probably should have moved it or like done something to make it like put it on a higher shelf so a 5-year-old couldn't reach it. Nah.
It's fine.
I just left it there. It's like, nah, you know what? That'll be an info hazard that someone else's like a parent can deal with.
You flip through Yotsuba, see her kind of just moving in, having a good time with her dad. You flip through Berserk, you see Guts clapping cheeks. It's fine.
Yeah. There's also
tomato.
Same thing.
There's actually a really funny like local news story as well of like I think it was like a middle school, elementary school, something like 7th grader, someone in that age brought home like a volume of Dragon Maid, and the parents were like, "This isn't appropriate."
I remember.
So they just like took it back, and I think the schools. This is how much of a non-story it was, by the way. It must have been a slow news day for this local TV network, but the school's response was just like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll just leave it up to the parents to curate what their kids read." Completely like normal response, and I guess now we have to run that on TV because no one got shot today.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Crouched Tiger, Hidden Dragon being your dad's favorite movie. You mentioned in a video that you watched anime originally with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of like was he introducing? Did he originally introduce you to anime?
He did. Before, like when I was a toddler, I didn't know how to read, but he'd put on Ghibli movies, and they were Japanese, no English dub yet, and he would read me the subtitles when I was little, and I loved Spirited Away, and then he also had he showed me Akira at a young age.
Oh God.
And, in the Philippines, there was this show Fushigi Yugi that like was really really popular. And my dad didn't know what it was, but he knew like that was the show that everyone was talking about for some reason. And without like watching it, he bought the entire like box set, and it's a romance isekai, or I think it's shoujo, and he didn't watch it. He watched like the first few episodes and was like, "This is not my thing." But yeah, but when I got older, like I watched it and I loved it, and so now they're mine. And one of his other favorite shows was Oh My Goddess, I guess, and he also had the box set, and I watched that with him. And no, he very much was a big contributor to who. Now look at what you did, Dad. I make anime content.
So you're saying your dad was an OG?
Oh yeah.
He was one of the real ones.
So Fushigi Yugi, would that have been like your like introduction to like shoujo anime?
Yes. Definitely.
Did you realize anything was different when you first watched it? Like something about this is unlike the other anime I've seen.
I mean,
I feel like there could be a difference in like Ghibli and something like Fushigi Yugi.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, the first episode is kind of like, I mean, like she gets isekai'd, and the moment she lands there, they're trying to like slave trade her, like become like and it's like, but they don't do it, but like they're insinuating a lot. Yeah. And there are some scenes, like, of course, it's anime, like, the girls get naked, hot spring stuff, but, I don't know, I never thought it was weird, I guess.
Well, how much anime had you seen by that point, I guess? Like, were you into anime by that point?
No, I don't think so. No, not at all. Like, I was still very young. The only other anime, I guess, technically would be Pokemon. Like,
okay. That's interesting. Then Pokemon and Fushigi Yugi.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess if you're young, like, I mean, you would be pretty accepting of just about anything you're watching if you're young enough, right? Like, the Hot Springs episode's not going to stand out. You're just be like, oh, they're going to a hot spring, I guess.
Basically. And, the boy was peeking, and so she kicked him. Anyway, go back to the romance. Yeah, I didn't really become like, it was just, it was any other show to me. But I didn't like realize what anime, I think, or like the anime community, the anime culture and everything was until middle school. Like this was probably still like early grade school when I was watching it.
Have you seen it since, or like read it since?
No. So kind of, I rewatched it so much growing up that now I want to revisit it, and maybe I think I'd make a video on it eventually.
That would be an interesting video.
Fushigi Yugi is problematic. Slave trade.
Mumi and I, this Saturday, we're going to be watching a childhood anime of both of ours called Scamper the Penguin.
Oh gosh.
Which is like a Soviet Japanese co-production.
Yeah.
About a bunch of penguins. So it was like a 3-episode OVA that got 2 different dubs in English. And we both watched the dub that turned it into a musical for some reason.
A musical?
Yeah, it's really, really strange. I think we probably just both watched it because we both had it on VHS and didn't literally have anything else to watch at the time.
Oh, I had plenty to watch. I had like a huge
I watched this
VHS
by choice.
I mean, technically, but like, I would have been so young. It's just like, oh, there's funny penguins on the front. Let's watch this funny penguin movie.
Yeah. No, I literally did not realize that it was anime up until right around the time I think we started this podcast. And I was like, what the fuck? What is this anime?
It was literally this podcast. Made you realize. I feel like it sounds like you didn't really have like a show that acted as like the turning point. It was just like maybe just the general community.
Oh, wait, for what?
For like what made you realize like what anime kind of was
Soul
as like its
Eater.
own something? Would you say that was like your turning point show or whatever?
Well, okay, Soul Eater is when I actually became like a weeb. Mm-hmm. Like, that's when I went online and I was like, I want to make my profile picture Soul. Like, that was it? I need to read fan fiction. I need to go on and I need to talk about it with someone. No.
Like that was my banner on Facebook, you know?
Basically. But I also kind of knew anime because my cousins, who I saw like every other day, he was basically my older brother. He was really, really into Naruto. And so I'd watch it with him, but like I never really took it seriously. And then he'd have friends over and then they're all into Naruto. And I was like, I watch Naruto. And he's like, yeah, name 5 characters. I'd be like, Naruto, Sakura, aside from Sakura and Sasuke. And then I'd be like,
Oh god, I don't even know if I could do that, though I haven't seen Naruto.
But it was like, that was like the first time I was like, oh, you're a fake fan. And I wanted to fit in with them. And so then I watched Naruto when I got home. And then I immediately was like, I know the characters. And then they started making fun of me for watching it dubbed. And then it just, I don't know. I wanted to fit in.
It's a weird kind of phenomena that people like feel the need to gatekeep in that way. It's like name 5 characters.
Name 5
I feel
characters.
I wonder if that's like just like the method of like database consumption that people have that like maybe not everybody like conforms to.
You'd be a casual.
You're a casual. You can't name 5 Naruto
You're a
characters.
fake fan.
Fake anime. I probably would be called a fake anime fan because like let me actually see. Okay, so I mean besides like the main 3, besides like Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Orochimaru, Kabuto. Oh, Gaara. There we go. 5. I did it.
You got like really niche ones too. Like Kabuto? Like what?
Well, because I did watch Naruto a little bit as a kid, and I just like thought Kabuto was like a cool character, and then he was like, oh, he's a traitor or whatever. I'm like, oh, not really that cool anymore. I don't know what the hell happens with the rest of his character after that. It's just revealed he's like working for Orochimaru, and I'm like, oh. Okay.
So you gotta be like me and just hide your power level when you got into high school. And then like you had people that were like really into Naruto, and then you just pull rank on them. Even though you didn't watch
the
anime.
Headband.
And they're like talking about Naruto. It's like, oh yeah, well, can you name 5 characters? And they name like, you know, the main like popular. You're just like, oh yeah, well, can you name Sakon and Yukon? Can you know who Tayuya is? You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I feel like I did do that at some point.
I've probably done that too. Maybe not in high school because I didn't really watch much anime in high school. Probably in college is when I did. Well, no one's ever tried to like gatekeep me yet. Again, really hope it happens by pissing people off online. It's got to happen eventually, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, you've made. It's literally like Netero and Hunter x Hunter, but just like bad move, little ant.
I want to experience being gatekept. God damn.
It's weird because it's like you have to prove yourself, and you're like, I'm a fan, I swear.
It's weird that like I feel like that doesn't exist. Maybe with like others, like some niches, but in terms of just like general things, like are you a real? Well, I guess people probably also do like movies and stuff where it's like
that happens in like niche nerd cultures all the time.
Yeah,
I would say it's more of the femme persuasion that gets gatekept like that though.
Yeah. Which
we're not getting gatekept. Let's be real.
or if unless we start trying to introduce postmodern neo-Marxist ideology into anime. By saying a character is trans.
I don't know. I feel like I could just claim I like anything and some motherfucker just look at me like, yeah, you probably do.
Yeah.
You look like that kind of motherfucker.
Look at him.
Jesus.
I also think that now today anime is like more popular, or like I think the amount of people watching it, like it's like the spectrum of anime watching is like really, it's a lot wider.
Yeah.
I'd say. It's like, of course, the only anime you've seen is Attack on Titan. That's fine.
Yeah, you have people who have literally like just seen like stuff on Netflix, like Devilman Crybaby, Cyberpunk Edge, stuff they've like heard about, being like, oh, this is really good. Check this out.
Yeah.
And
whereas
it's like,
before, it's like you have to seek it out.
Yeah. Which is an interesting... a change that I feel like, has only happened over maybe like the past 10 to 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're kind of behind with anime because like I feel like we're like at the point with anime now that like games were like 15 years ago where people started like playing like phone games, like Angry Birds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like
when everyone started becoming a gamer, yeah.
Candy Crush. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Yeah.
I play Wordle. Words
Farmville.
with friends. Farmville.
Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah, what was it? Clash of Clans. I distinctly remember people in high school being really goddamn annoying about like Clash of Clans. And then like the year I graduated high school, maybe like when did Pokemon Go come out? That was like a fucking epoch moment, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
2016?
I had a sense of gatekeeping in that. And I was like, what? Because I brought my DS to school growing up.
Yeah.
And like suddenly the people that would like side eye me was like, oh my God, I caught an EV or something. And I'd be like, hello.
I was
had a
catching EVs long before.
I actually had a really surreal experience because on vacation in California, and we were on like the Santa Monica Pier, and like Pokemon Go had like just come out like a couple days ago, and I didn't have it on my phone. My sister didn't have it on her phone. We were just like walking down the pier, and everyone was playing Pokemon Go, and it was kind of like weird because we were the only ones who weren't. We're just like, this feels kind of creepy.
I'm just
It's
trying
a
to enjoy my
dystopian
vacation.
society.
Yeah. It literally felt like one of those like Facebook memes of like people being like, "Oh, modern society nowadays, everyone's looking at their phone." But that's what it was. Everyone
It was
was
like
just
Black
on their
Mirror.
phone. Yeah, just on their phone playing Pokemon Go at the Santa Monica Pier.
Man, I remember I downloaded like a pirated version of Pokemon Go just to like download it early before it got released on like.
Whoa.
Oh, it's a free mobile game. Why would you download a pirated version?
Well,
You wanted it
Because
first.
like the APK version, like it came out in like other regions before, or like was it other regions, or like it didn't come out on Android before.
Yeah,
Apple
something
or
like
something?
that. Yeah.
So I downloaded it like illegally to get it like early, and then like I ended up not liking it at all. I was like, "Fuck this game."
Smoke this game. I have to go outside and walk around. Nah.
Well, being in like rural Texas,
Yeah, well, exactly.
there's not a lot to do on Pokemon Go. You're just like, oh, I got one stop. Let me just try to catch a Squirtle on my commute fucking out of the city.
That's the funny thing about it. Like, well, I guess the social aspect of all Pokemon games is I always felt excluded from them up until they started adding like global like Wi-Fi based stuff. Is that I never had anyone to interact with to do like events or anything. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm not gonna fucking go walk around like rural Ohio with my phone out and probably get hit by a pickup truck going like 60 miles in a 45 mile per hour country road. No.
See, we already solved this problem back in the 90s. You just buy 2 copies of the game and just traded with yourself. You just played Pokemon.
I did have I literally
experience.
did have a friend who would do that, and I was like, nah, I don't want to play the same game twice. Fuck that noise.
I mean, you don't have to play it all.
No, but it's like, well, I would also need to get like 2 DSs, and I'm like, nah.
You know, I don't think we've ever really talked about Pokemon on this podcast.
We haven't.
We're a fake anime podcast.
We're fake
Well, now you've finally done you can check mark it.
check market. I would like
You're
to do a
welcome.
Pokemon episode at some point, just because I feel like I could probably talk for a while about how much I hate Pokemon.
What?
I hate what
You hate what
Pokemon
you don't
is-
understand.
I hate what Pokemon has become, essentially, because
Let's unpack that.
all right, so like I'm specifically talking about the games because I feel like the way the Pokemon franchise has been set up is that you have all of these different components. You have like the TV show, card game, whole bunch of fucking toys, all this stuff, and it is all dependent on the video games to come out on about a 2-year cycle. And every time, it's a new generation, and that allows them to basically refresh everything. They get new merchandise in, new things, new TV show, new cards, new toys, all that sort of stuff. And what that ends up doing is that the games now no longer have enough time to cook. So they end up just kind of coming out literally, just half baked, essentially, where it's like this needed to stay in the oven long, but it can't stay in the oven longer because Pokemon is like the
They
like
need it
highest
out by Christmas or by
it's-
Thanksgiving.
it's the highest valued media franchise in the world, and it's all dependent on these games coming out on a regular like 2-year basis. So they can't take like the amount of time necessary to develop like a new Mario game or like a new like mainline Zelda game or anything like that. No, they need to like keep hammering them out. And I think the games end up suffering as a result. So I like Pokemon. Let me walk back to the fact that I hate Pokemon. I like Pokemon. I hate the fact that the franchise has been set up in such a way that it severely kneecaps my favorite part of the franchise, which are the video games.
Damn, I can't believe we got clickbait on my own podcast.
I know, but you know what? Now that you've unpacked it, I understand.
Now, yeah. So, but you see, I already said I hate Pokemon. Everyone has left an angry comment, and then now that I've explained myself, no one will then delete their angry comment.
But that means engagement, so you did the job.
Exactly. And then I'm going to clip this. I'm going to put it in a YouTube
God.
short. It's going to
Bada
get
bing, bada boom.
150,000 views, and we're going to literally title it "The Problem with Pokemon."
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I haven't liked the new Pokemon games since I think the last one I liked was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Which are just remakes of the old games, yeah.
Yeah, I did like X and Y, so I liked that kind of like generation, I guess. I didn't like Sun and Moon though. Despite looking forward to it and like thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like a fresh take on the formula, I ended up kind of feeling, I don't know, it felt too handholdy, I guess. I guess it didn't help that
That's fair.
they're gearing this series more younger in like how they think that kids will engage with it, I guess.
Yeah,
I say that because I engaged with it just fine on the Game Boy back when I was like 7. So it's not like that's how kids are going to engage with it.
But you know what? This is not a Pokemon podcast. It's not the Pokemon episode. You put Gojo on the thumbnail. Talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, goddammit.
Can we talk about what our favorite Pokemon are?
I don't know what would I say my favorite Pokemon is. Oh, Mimikyu. Yeah, Mimikyu is awesome.
That's
feel like-
one of mine. And Inakyu is actually inspired by my first name plus
I was gonna ask
Mimikyu.
that. It was a 50-50 shot that it's either Mimikyu or like, I don't know, some kind of derivative of like
or it's literally
QB or
just meant to
something.
sound like cute. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
No, yeah, it's Sabrina plus Mimikyu, Inakyu.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Yeah. There we go. Literally talk about this last episode. People making screen names that are like similar or like derivative of their like real name.
You've been vindicated.
I specifically formulated mine because I was like, before on YouTube and stuff, I went by like my first and last name because that's what the YouTubers that I watched enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I made the one video on anime, like it popped off. I was like, okay, what do other people do in my niche? Or like, I need to appeal to nerds and shit. And so I was like, okay, Aki Dearest, Pokimane, Valkyrae,
Mirachu.
yeah, Emirichu. And so I was like, okay, I need to have a kawaii name.
Yes.
And so yeah, hence Inakyu.
I gotta start a podcast and hide my identity.
I like how calculated that is.
I made a whole list and like sent them to like my friends, and I was like, okay, which is the best?
And they were like, you are putting way too much thought into this.
My favorite Pokemon's probably no one would guess. It's Shuckle though.
Aw, that's a cute Pokemon.
I have like one of those. I don't know if you saw like the little plushes they made where they like rolled out like the all 150 Pokemon, and then like they did the second generation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of the Shuckle ones when I was in Japan.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And it hangs out on my detail and guards my figure shelf with its high defense.
Keeps it with its high defense stat.
Nobody can come through.
No one will ever break.
See, I thought you were gonna say your favorite Pokemon was Vaporeon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess like it would match up as far as generation wise.
Yeah.
No, I would say like after Shuckle it'd be like Squirtle. Squirtle was like my first.
Squirtle's
like,
cool, specifically with the sunglasses.
Yeah, specifically with the Kamina
The cool
glasses. Yeah.
yeah.
With the Kamina glasses.
Yeah, that
He's
shit was
got a-
awesome as a kid.
Yeah, that was my first Pokemon, and I had like I remember when I played Pokemon Blue, like I just fucking all I played was with Blastoise. So like I had a level 100 Blastoise and then like nothing else. I just went through the whole game like that.
You beat the
joys-
entire game with just Blastoise, basically.
Oh, I got up to level 100.
Oh,
Just Blastoise. I beat the Elite Four like I have no idea how many fucking times just to get to level 100.
I think I did that with Pokemon Emerald, where I caught Rayquaza early. I did like this really shitty, annoying bike puzzle, and I got like a level 75 Rayquaza, and then just used that to fight my way through the rest of the game.
I did that with Red, actually. I traded like I caught a level 70 Rhydon in what is it? The fuck, what's the Cerulean Cave.
Right.
And just traded it over to my red
Oh.
version and just like played through the entire version. Would not recommend that.
Well, yeah, because it won't listen to you until you get like a certain number of badges.
Yeah, so like half,
It's
like probably 3/4 of my time playing the game is just like this loafing around. Is loafing around. Like what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Shockingly,
Just do something.
yeah. Trading yourself a high level Pokemon and then only using that Pokemon is not the most fun way to play Pokemon. A video game based around catching a lot of and collecting Pokemon.
Gotta lean into those databases.
Yeah.
I never really got into like catching all the Pokemon though.
I didn't either, really.
And the cards, I did that. But the game, I didn't really. I just had my favorites. I just collected them.
The
Made
cards for me
teams.
is like a latent gambling habit because every time I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get, I don't ever play the card game. I'm just always like, oh man, I'm going to get something good. And then either I do or either I don't, or I do and I get like a dopamine rush, which, you know, then fuels the addiction further.
I don't ever actually remember pulling like good Pokemon cards, to be honest.
I was never a card person. I was very much a show person.
It got to the point where I was also just dropping like over $100 on like booster boxes, which had like 60 booster packs in them, and then just blowing through them and being like, I'm still empty inside.
So
This
you
has not filled the void in my soul.
You just had to scam some kids in your neighborhood.
I knew some people who would do that. They were assholes.
Yeah, but I scammed like kids that were like 3 years older than me, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. And see, they were just like scamming like kindergartners, basically. I knew a guy who literally just tried to take all of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards once because he beat me. He's like, yep, now I take all of your cards. And then I told the teacher and he gave them back.
I actually had a fucking kid. I had I forget what they're called. There were some Pokemon cards that were like in Japanese. They were like the Southern Island, Rainbow Island or something cards. They're like a 3-piece set. And you had that was like the first card printing of like Mew, Meryl, and some other ones. And I had those, and some kid was like looking at them in a binder, and the motherfucker like, I can't be that mad, because I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't have caught that when I was like in fucking second grade. But like, dude, like put them in, like took them out of the sleeve, right, like the binder, and was looking at them. And then he like made it look like he put it in, but he slid it behind the page. And then when he picked it up, he slid it in his lap where I couldn't see it, and like stole my fucking cards. I was like, what the fuck? Like the ingenuity of some fucking people.
And that kid's name was David Blaine.
I feel like David Blaine's not that popular. I don't know how many people are going to get that fucking reference.
Is Penn and Teller still popular?
I don't know. I haven't really heard it. I really like that bullshit show they did, but I've never actually like watched like their magic shit. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I like Fool Us. Fool Us is good.
Fool
It's
Us,
also
I
not
saw-
anime.
No, I mean, you brought this up. You brought this up.
Yeah, but I didn't expect you to like just completely like say what you were gonna say.
I was to say we could pivot into anime, talk about shonen and shoujo. So your most popular video, your fan service video. I don't know if that's your most popular video actually.
It's my most recent, I guess. My most popular is the Why Shonen Girls Are Trash. And then fan service, I think. I am not sure. Let me go look.
we gotta get this correct.
Jamie.
Stop calling me Jamie, goddamn.
Jamie,
Pull it up.
You don't talk to me.
What's
for weeks,
Inakyu's
and
most
now you
popular
just
video?
expect me to be at your beck and call? Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's the Why Shonen Girls Are Trash. Then it's the first video that kind of put me in AniTube was the anime recommendation guide.
Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't
you
even
got
need
quite
me
a
anyway.
few
Nice.
recommendation videos. You actually care about trying to get people in there into these anime.
Now that was my I guess because that was the first thing that people were kind of hooked on within my channel, so I was like, okay, I gotta milk that.
I feel
And
like
so-
it's kind of surprising because it seems like you've watched quite a variety of stuff
Mhm.
that a lot of people might not necessarily delve into. Like you recommend like fucking Lane and what was another one? Like Parasite and Death Parade, shit like that.
Yeah.
You give some solid recs, I guess.
Thank you.
Why do you?
Question mark?
Yeah, why do you gotta add the I guess caveat there? Now you just sound like a cunt.
Well, see, we can take it out in editing, and then it just sounds better.
Yeah, these are nice recommendations, I guess.
I said solid.
Solid. Oh yeah. Sorry, nice is too high praise, I guess, for me.
You had to humble me a bit, I
Yeah.
guess.
That wasn't the intent, but
Well, it's also, it's
Yeah.
also like, what is that video? Gateway anime for beginners.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna like hit them with like, gosh, what would be like an inappropriate anime recommendation for someone who's never seen anime before? Dragon Half.
oh, that sounds kind of baller.
Yeah, but you're weird and you're unreliable.
I mean, you want to get people into weird anime, you just recommend them weird shit. It's fine.
Yeah,
Anything could be someone's gateway.
I guess.
anime.
Yeah, like that is the thing. Every anime is someone's first anime somehow.
I mean, we try to cater to people, right? Where it's like, oh, we try to recommend the most popular. I feel like we recommend the most popular stuff because like that's the stuff that people can talk about. I feel like we might have talked about this at one point, but like when you recommend stuff, like it's often like you want to share in that experience, right? So like, I feel like when you recommend like a popular show, it's like, hey, this is the thing that you can kind of go into a conversation with, as opposed to like, I don't know, you recommend someone watch Scamper the Penguin. Who the fuck's gonna know what the fuck you're talking about outside of us two fucks?
Yeah, no, I recommend stuff because I'm tired of hearing people talk about why the latest Pixar movie sucks, and I want to be able to flex on them that I have better taste in media than them.
By telling them why this random OVA from the 80s sucks.
And then I get ignored. I wouldn't say like a random OVA from the 80s, not like that like sucks. No, there's no point. I don't think there's any point in like bringing up obscure media that no one's heard of and you hate, and therefore you're telling them not to watch this thing that they otherwise would never have heard of.
It's reverse psychology.
Oh, okay.
You bring up something they never heard of, and then you're like, yeah, this fucking was horseshit. Don't watch it. And they're like, well, I didn't know what the fuck this was. You brought it up, and it seems notable enough that you had to bring it up. And then they watch it.
You know, that
So-
actually makes a lot of sense.
That's the life hack, the psychological.
Psychological
Mind game.
YouTube hack. How to get
Um,
100,000 subs in 3 days on YouTube with this one hack.
We were watching that fan service video the other day when we were kind of going through stuff and taking notes or whatever. And there's that part that you talk about like the muscular characters, that being a kind of more aimed toward like the male gaze, right?
Yeah.
It being like a very visual thing. Which I agree with for the most part. I think, like you said, I think there's definitely like an element where there are women that like still like that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you really gave like any kind of specific examples of like what you would say female fan service was.
Yeah.
So we were kind of talking about it. So it was like I wondered what your like take on that was.
I guess I was looking at fan service in like the most common way it was like it is kind of shown.
Mhm.
And like kind of like what you would think, I guess, when you think of fan service in anime. And female fan service, I'd say I have a video where I talk about the male gaze is ruining anime for clickbait and stuff, where I was mostly just trying to unpack both of them. And I high-key would remake that today because I'm much more educated on it, I guess. But, you know, I'll let it live there on my channel. But female gaze-wise, it's kind of more... it's the stuff, it's basically the opposite of the male gaze, which like male gaze is very visual, while female gaze is more it's in between the lines, I'd say, from my knowledge.
So Mumi kind of like described it like this when we were talking about it yesterday or the day before, is that like it's almost more like narrative based, essentially.
Yes.
And we were talking like it specifically came up because we were talking about there was something in Jujutsu Kaisen that happened recently where there was like an older character beating up a younger character. And it was like he like pulled them up by his hair or something.
Yes.
And I saw a bunch of people thirsting over that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Which I've not seen Jujutsu Kaisen, so I was just like, what?
I was basing it. I was trying to base it off of like my ex, like when my ex would talk about stuff she got excited about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, it would often be very situational stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like, to me, it comes off like female fan service is more about like the implications or like the situation, like that. That's exact thing you're talking about. The dude pulling the hair, like it's implications and like the way
it's the subtext. I'd say,
it's the thing that gets your imagination going. Like, oh,
it doesn't matter what they look like. It's the what's happening.
Yeah, it's not a visual thing. The thing I think of when I think about that is like I forget what the Kobadan.
Oh yeah, the Kobadan, yeah.
Yeah, where they put the hands on the wall. That's like a very what I'm kind of talking about, like when I think of like female
like
fan
the wall,
service.
Yeah, basically that. Yes, that's basically what you gave a very good example.
I have the shoujo heart sometimes. I can.
Your entire online persona is based around a magical girl character. It's weird. Like I feel like mahou shoujo and like shoujo in general are kind of, they have overlap, but like I wouldn't like put everybody that likes like magical girls. I do feel like there is a separation because I can see, because I know people who like shoujo and I know people who like magical girl stuff, and I think a good way to illustrate like the division would be Symphogear.
Yeah, because like even Madoka, right? Like Madoka's a good example too.
Symphogear is like, because like Symphogear is like, what is it, like the Gurren Lagann, a magical girl anime, basically.
Yeah, like Precure is a good example of that too, because like there's not really like any kind of, when I think of like magical girls that do have like the shoujo elements and stuff, I think of like Hime-chan's Ribbon. Like it very much is like very seeped in like a shoujo, more like shoujo slice of life romance kind of show, and then it has like the magical girl element to it. That would be an example of something like that, where you have like the intrigue and the suspense of like, will they, won't they, and the relationship kind of drama.
Yeah.
And then like you have a little bit of that with I don't know, like Precure Adore Me, where it's like the community thing, I guess, where they're kind of solving problems and like bonding as like a community. But yeah, there's definitely like a subtext of people that consume like magical girls, kind of like almost like idol anime or something, where
Yeah.
it's more about like
that's a
the
good way to-
action of like
yeah.
a Precure or something. I wouldn't put them on. Basically, I wouldn't put them under the same umbrella, right? Like,
Right. Well, yeah. Like I said, there's overlap, but I think there's also like they're not mutually inclusive.
Yeah, you can't say like, oh, I like shoujo anime. I watch Cardcaptor Sakura, and then I mean you can, but like it depends on like why you like it, right?
I like
'Cause you can
shoujo
like it
anime.
for
I've seen
markedly
flip
different
flappers,
reasons.
and it's like I don't know if that counts.
Flip flappers.
I don't know if Flip Flappers even like comes close.
Yeah.
I guess it is a Yuri anime.
I don't even know
Oh.
what that is.
That's like a psychedelic, bizarre, magical girl anime about.
Yeah.
They go into like different. Every episode they go into like a different setting. Basically, like there's an episode where they're in like a Mad Max style desert.
They're just
Interesting.
psychological deep dives.
Yeah, they go into like a
Interesting.
haunted house where the ghosts aren't really. The ghosts are actually nice and trying to help them, but they look like ghosts, so they're scared of them. It's a fun show that messes with your head at the end.
I would recommend it. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
good one. It's not like it is a magical girl, but it's not like a magical girl in the same way as like a Precure.
No, it's closer
It's
to something like
it's close-
Madoka.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking of Madoka when you were describing it a bit. So.
Yeah. I think it's very much inspired by Madoka and
Yeah, it's definitely
Evangelion.
one of those like post Madoka, post Nanoha kind of things.
Yeah. There's a lot of post Madoka shows.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say some of your like favorite like shoujo anime are that you haven't necessarily like talked about in recommendation videos or manga even?
I mean, I already talked about Fushigi Yugi.
Mhm.
Very dear to my heart. Full Moon, Wo
Oh, yeah, Full Moon.
Shagashite. Yeah, that one was the first manga to make me like cry.
That fucking like kills you too. Like it's not even like
You literally
that's like an ugly cry.
I was
series.
gross sobbing in the library.
Did
yeah,
you watch
'cause
the
I only-
anime for that one?
I did, but they didn't. It's not finished, so I had to go to the manga. Right?
Yeah. Well, the Full Moon anime is technically finished. Like it's got like a complete story, but I think the manga goes on longer, maybe.
Yeah, I was in summer camp, and my parents got off work late, and there was a library across the street, so I just walk there and read manga until like they can pick me up. And I was crying over Full Moon the moment my dad picked me up. It was just
You're just over there ugly crying in the corner.
literally.
Can you imagine,
It was like-
as a father, would you just be like, "Oh my God, something horrible has happened"? Like, you run up to your daughter and you're like, "Well, what's the matter?" And you just point to the book.
Poor child has been abandoned.
Or
I asked
other
because,
people,
like-
other people who don't know you, like driving by, being like, "Why is that kid crying?"
I asked because like the music, I feel like in Full Moon
Oh yeah.
really fucking hits. Like I
Yes.
listen to like Eternal Snow now, and I'm like, fuck, I cannot listen to this.
Oh my god, I'm so glad that like you guys know these these shows, because I've never talked about them before or known someone that like can reference like even Eternal Snow and stuff.
Oh, that's actually one of like Joe Pause Select.
Yes.
That's one of his favorite shows too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's on his 3x3, but you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, I'd also make a Full Moon video event. There's so much I just would want to talk about, but yeah.
I've actually talked about that with Hayden. Like we kind of kicked around the idea of like making a Full Moon video. Specifically kind of in the context of like comparing it to like other series that are similar to it, because it takes a lot of influence from Creamy Mommy. So like we were gonna do it in like that context of comparing it to that and Fancy Lala, which is a 90s show. Full Moon's like very much like a love letter to like those kind of magical girl shows. Like the whole you have like 1 year to live thing stems from like Creamy Mommy and like those shows. They did the year thing. In Creamy Mommy, it was like you have a year to play with these powers because that was the syndication of the show. Like it was only going to run for a full year and then for 50 episodes and then it ended. So like it's playing on that where it's like, oh, but it's like, oh, you only have a year to live. But like, fuck. Full Moon was like so fucking good. I haven't been able to talk about it all that much, but like that it's one of those where it's like you don't expect for her to die, right? And but it like you're like, oh, it can't happen. It's a nice, cute, fun, kids show. She's not gonna die of cancer. Like, what the fuck? And then like it goes on, and you're like, fuck, this might actually what the fuck?
It adds stakes. There's a little timer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. That's a banger pick.
What else? I'm like, I mean, Fruits Basket, of course, like, can't go wrong with it. Like, it's definitely a core show for me. Oron, Maid
Do you like the original or the remake more?
A Fruits Basket. Yeah.
Yeah, Fruits Basket.
Honestly, I don't know. I rewatched the original so many times, and I have it's very dear to my heart. And I'm so happy that they got the original voice actors, most of them, for the remake, because I watched it dubbed growing up, so I wanted to do the same thing with the new one. And I get like cute aggression while watching it. Like I think I even like talked about, like I've made a tweet before where it's like, you know how like bros want to like go to the gym after they watch like a shonen or something?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Like they're amped, like they want to be like when I watch Fruits Basket, it makes me want to punch a wall. It makes like it literally, like watching, I don't know, the interactions. I want to like, I don't know, I can't, my body literally can't contain how cute or something is. Like, I don't know.
Are you one of those that like they see like their dog that's acting really cute and they like put it, like they start trying to bite it?
I wouldn't bite my dog.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking? What do you mean? What?
It's like, it's kind of like the thing where it's like you see like a baby and you want to strangle it.
Absolutely.
I feel like Sai gets that on another level. No, you haven't seen like those videos where like people will like have their dog like, oh, it's just so cute. I just want to, and they like put their like snout in their mouth. And, like I bet they're gonna like bite it.
You said you didn't watch cute animal videos on YouTube.
I don't. I just get fucking just random shorts like or meme like compilations or whatever, and I'll have it in there occasionally.
This sounds like it's very revealing of you and your preferences, honestly.
Shh, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. The one time I've seen like someone like, I don't know, put a dog head in their mouth, it was like cooked. That was horrifying.
Well, it's better than uncooked, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Why is that on YouTube? There's an ad before it too, somehow.
No.
I feel like fuck YouTube in that regard. Like,
oh yeah,
they make you like have to be squeaky clean, and then like they'll put like some ad that's like trying to scam people on your video.
Here's an ad
it's
saying
like,
that you should definitely still be taking ivermectin. No,
it's usually like the AI voices that are like,
oh yeah,
Joe Biden or like Joe Rogan or something. They're like, the government is trying to hide this from you. You are owed like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you putting this on my content? Like,
yeah, why is this allowed on YouTube? Well, it's because they're paying money for it, and the reality is YouTube doesn't make enough money. Beggars can't be choosers, so it's literally like let us take any ads. So if we want to, that's again, they had like a thing where it's like you could now like promote your content on YouTube or whatever.
But you could do that for a while.
Yeah, but I feel like did they start pushing that like more recently?
I don't know. I don't know if they started pushing it more. I mean, I tried it in one of our videos. It doesn't really work all that well.
It doesn't really work, no, because it's so broad. It's not like targeted advertising or anything.
Granted, I didn't do like a lot of money into it or something. I was just like curious what it would do.
Yeah, and it turns out it probably harmed the video more than helped.
Possibly. But yeah, anime.
Anime.
What have you watched or read Nana or Skip Beat?
I watched Nana.
Nana's a banger.
Yes.
Nana takes place in the same universe as what other anime? Was it
Golden Time?
Golden Time. Yeah, that's
Wait,
weird.
really? I didn't know that.
Well, the author of Golden Time, who is the same author as Toradora, put Nana. I forget. Not Hachi, but the other Nana. In as like one of the what do you call it? The neighbors in the apartments. It's literally just Nana. She's just hanging out.
Shared universe.
Like, oh, okay.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on Golden Time.
It's okay. Coco's a fun character. I feel like the problem with Golden Time is Tada Banri, the main character. You have a weird triangle, and then you have the whole him having amnesia thing.
But you like it more than Toradora, right? You still like it? You don't like Toradora?
I like Toradora.
Yeah, I like Toradora a lot too. He doesn't.
What?
That's one of his favorite shows. I fucking hate
asshole.
Toradora.
Yeah.
You added a fucking. Why so passionate?
It was okay.
Is Taiga not your cup of tea?
Yeah, come on. Give us your hot takes. This is what we're talking about.
I don't dislike tsundere characters. I mean, I'm not like a fan of tsundere characters, but it's not like it would bother me that much. I think it's just more like it was too frustrating for like, because you know how a lot of romance kind of structure themselves where they're like, will they, won't they? And intentionally make themselves frustrating. I feel like Toradora did that, but I wasn't like endeared to any of the characters.
Endeared.
No, endured. I had to endure the show. No, but like it was one of those shows, right? I hadn't watched it for years. Like it was on my radar. It was like everyone's just. It was one of those. It was like a sure thing, right? Everyone loves Toradora.
All the Taiga profile pictures.
Yeah, well, like casuals love Toradora that haven't watched like 10 anime. That's one of their first. Elitist like Toradora. I mean, there's like a whole group watch for it on like 4chan. They group watch it every Christmas.
I was literally about to make a joke, being like, even racists like Toradora.
Yeah, literally everybody likes Toradora. And so it's just one of those shows where you like, from the outside, I had the perception like, oh, of course it's going to be good. There's right. Like it's just the worst. It'll be like fine. Right. Like it's just one of those acceptedly consensusly good shows.
Like Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Like Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Toradora. Same thing.
The Legend of the Galactic Heroes of romance anime.
And then I watch it. And like every episode, I'm like, wow, I hate this show more with this episode than I did the last one. And it was like, the first 5-8 episodes, like it was okay. Like it was fine. I'm like, okay, we'll see where this goes. Kind of started dragging on. And eventually, like I was actually watching it with my ex at the time. And she's like, oh no, it turns the corner in the next arc or the next episode. It gets better because she remembered it from like 10 years prior. And so I'm watching. I'm like, when do I start liking this show? And then we like get to like near the end. I'm just like, this just never got good. I just hate this show.
Well, now that she's your ex, we need to watch it together. I'm just going to be twisting your arm
No.
the entire time.
My opinion
You
is not
will
going
like
to
it.
change.
Would you rather me force you to rewatch Toradora or we watch all of the new Fooly Cooly?
I'd rather do the Fooly Cooly because we can make content out of that one.
Oh no,
I can harness
make
my rage.
Well, come on, we can make content arguing about Toradora. Come on.
We could. I don't know if I want to though.
You wouldn't do it for the views?
You can. Okay, if it's like between Fooly Cooly and Toradora, what's gonna get more views?
I feel
right?
like Fooly Cooly, yeah.
Yeah. See,
But these are
It's fine.
mutually. We can do both.
we can do both. Maybe if we get enough. We get enough people
Get
to
this
want it.
video to 500 likes and we'll review Toradora.
Oh my god, this actually got 500 likes someday. I would fucking just,
That would actually blow my mind.
it would be a shock. But yeah, not a fan of Toradora. Actually, it's interesting because like I like stuff like Kare Kano. But generally I feel like the romance I like aren't really focused on the romance.
Right, yeah, we
Like-
talked about this.
Like a lot of Yuasa stuff that have like romantic elements, like Tatami Galaxy is not focused on the romance hardly at all. It's
Well,
just
your
kinda
go-to
like a-
example is like Ursa Yatsura, isn't it?
well, that's one of them. But like even before Ursa Yatsura or Orange Road, like those are the two I kind of think of now. Like Yuasa stuff, like Kaiba. I would
Mhm.
say Kaiba's a romance, right? Because like it's about
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
In a metatextual nebulous sense, like it's just literally true love, right? Like they love
Yeah.
each other beyond the boundaries of their corporeal form,
Of even their memories.
even their memories. But yeah, it's not really like a romance in the same way as like a Boys Over Flowers or a I don't know, a skip beat or something.
Well, like
And,
you
like-
liked Full Moon, but I guess Full Moon wasn't really romance heavy.
It's not.
It's
It,
not.
like, I
It's
mean,
not.
there's that stuff with Takuto a bit,
yeah,
but it's not like the. I don't.
it's not
I
the
like
forefront.
romance.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. I like a lot of romance, but it's not the focus. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen any of
agree.
Urusei Yatsura.
I have not, but no, I can see that.
Yeah, it's more of a comedy, but then there's like these really cute moments between like Ataru and Lum that like my go-to example is like there's an episode where like Ataru is just like sitting there eating a bag of potato chips while he's like reading a comic book, and he's just being a lazy shitter and like not looking at the potato chips, and so like they get knocked kind of away from him. And he's just like looking at the comic book trying to reach, and Lum is like paying attention to what he's doing, and like as she's like knitting something, and she just like kind of slowly moves the bowl with her foot toward his hand. And it's like cute little stuff like that, right? Like the cute
Yeah,
building on the romance stuff. I'm all down for that. It's I feel like it's when the romance like focuses on the romance, because it the example I kind of think of for that, which I don't know if you've seen this, you probably haven't. Mason Ikoku, from the Rumiko Takahashi.
nope.
She that one's based on the romance, and to me I don't enjoy it as much as like Urusei Yatsura's romance, because it's focused on in the plot. So like the driving
about- Oh wait, continue.
well the driving like impetus for the plot in the story is their romance. So it's like it feels like an inevitability, and it's just like just fucking get together already. Like
Mhm.
but it has to like come up with ways to construct a situation to keep them apart still. and it's just like it gets really frustrating for me. I'm just like, okay, I'm not like it kind of will hurt characterization for me. Like for that one specifically, it kind of hurts Kyoko's characterization where I just kind of get to a point where I'm like, you just kind of act like a bitch at this point. Like, let's just get it over with, get together. It's a foregone conclusion. Just I'm tired of dealing with this shit. Like
he gave this a 7 out of 10.
I did.
What about something like Kaguya-sama? Where it's like it's romance, but like it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And like,
Well, me hasn't
you
seen
asked that?
Kaguya.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
I have.
watched it.
Kaguya, well, it's interesting because I feel like there's like two kinds of romance anime, and they're both kind of predicated on instability. There's something that needs to change, essentially. So with something like Kaguya-sama, it's fundamentally centered around like the two main characters getting together.
mm-hmm.
But then you can have other kinds of like romance stories where the characters are already together, or they eventually get together, but they can never just stay together. That wouldn't be interesting. There's not enough drama there. One of them has to die.
No, I mean you got like Ori Monogatari, like that's a cute, wholesome show. They're just a couple that do couple things.
I guess, but is that
Nobody
really
dies.
a drama though?
No.
I'm thinking like I guess my go-to example of this in this will show my hand both in terms of how little romance anime I've seen overall, and also the kinds of romance anime I've seen would be Hawaiian Breeze,
Oh yeah. Hawaiian Breeze.
which is an anime. It's like a domestic drama about like a couple, and they basically just end up splitting up because the guy wants to have kids, but the woman doesn't.
That's
and
a good
it's-
OVA though.
It is a good OVA. Highly, it's on YouTube, I think.
That should be your next foray into romance projects. You should just do 90s shoujo romance OVAs.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Give a
Um,
lot of recommendations for those.
You're an expert in those specifically.
Yes, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
of
No,
one
literally,
episode.
these are the ones I've seen. Like 19.
It's not a shoujo though.
And I guess it's not.
Romance is romance in a way, but yeah,
That's some. You had something about Love is War, Kaguya.
Oh yeah, I was just more wondering, like romance is but also isn't the forefront of the show. So I was wondering if that was like something that like Mumi would like what because you said that you don't like when romance is like the main thing, but it's like what about that one?
it's
Well, I know the conceit of that one is like they're doing this mind game of like I can't be the one.
Yeah, to
to, like-
confess.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different in that regard.
Mhm.
The drama in that can be at times a lot more like I guess facetious. Like that's like the gimmick. It's almost delivered with like a wink and the nod to the audience. Like, yeah, this is kind of silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that would be a different situation a bit, but I'm also just not really interested in Kaguya-sama. So
That's valid.
we'll
What
probably
about,
never watch it.
A couple other anime like that as well, like Takagi-san. You know, like the guy, like
Mhm.
they eventually do get together because there's also like a spin-off series where they're both adults and they have a kid. But it's like he can't confess to her until he manages to out-tease her. And then the same author has had another series based around the idea that like the guy would not confess to her until he beat her at shogi. And she's really good at shogi and he barely even knows how to play. And I guess
See,
that's
I
kind
think-
of like the conceit.
I feel like this is highlighting the difference in like shoujo and shonen romance.
Yeah.
Because I feel like shonen romance is like trying to broaden its appeal to where it's the appeal of it is almost not even the romance at that point.
I mean, you got like Horimiya, but like yeah, the Horimiya like they get together within like the first 6 episodes. So
yeah, there are probably exceptions that I'm just not versed in because admittedly, I don't know. I feel like I've seen a decent amount of romance, but like I wouldn't be I would never try to like posit myself as some kind of expert or anything.
yeah.
But yeah, it feels like a lot of times shonen stuff, the focus, like you said, is not necessarily on the romance. It's trying to like gear itself in a way where it's almost like it's like the romance is like a medicine, and it's just like hiding it in your food, and it's just like, yeah, consume this.
Consume this. What are we, dogs? I guess, yeah, I could see what you mean by that in terms of like, I feel like they are structured differently. Although I have not like seen or read enough like shoujo like romance manga or seen enough anime to really be able to pin down what exactly those sorts of structural differences are.
See, if you had watched more shoujo romance, you would understand the female fan service thing better, because it's like it's constructing
like watching
these...
the demographic for girl thing would help. But
like
anyway,
it's structuring themselves where it's like, you know, what's the example? Like, just I don't remember if this is like an actual specific example at this point, but like, out of like the girl has like an adversarial relationship with the guy or something, and she's getting like bullied by some other girls in her class, and like the guy like bursts through the door and is like, y'all need to stop or something. She's like, oh my gosh, I thought he hated me, but he's standing up for me. Like, it's the scenario.
it's the act of doing something.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the textual stuff, subtext.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Closest I would
what
have to that is recently watched this movie. I think it's called After. Either of you know what the movie After is?
Wait, like on Netflix?
I think it is on Netflix now.
That's so funny. But
It's
continue
like,
your point.
It's like a Harry Styles.
Yes.
It's literally a
I read that when it was on Wattpad.
yes, it's an
before it was
adaptation
the
of a
movie.
story on Wattpad, which is
But
crazy
that
to
story
think about.
on Wattpad is an adaptation, or was made because of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
And 50 Shades of Grey was made because they liked Twilight.
Yeah, that's like a whole weird thing going on. So that's my level of insight into romance media.
That is not what romance is.
What are you talking about? It's the
Being
exact
in
same
an
thing.
abusive relationship.
What are you telling me? Like, there's a difference between, what was it, like 365 days and full moon?
Yes.
God, 365 days. Now that's a movie.
I thought you were saying at the movie title. I was like, 365 Days of Summer? Like, what?
No, that's no. 365 days is the name of the movie, and basically a guy just kidnaps a woman and then says, if you do not fall in love with me in 365 days, then I will let you go.
So it's just
deranged.
a Stockholm Syndrome movie?
Yes. Yeah, no, literally. Yeah. Yeah, it's a movie based around Stockholm Syndrome.
Well,
It's like a feral version of Beauty and the Beast.
When did that come out?
I feel like that was 2020. I remember it being like the pandemic had already.
Oh,
had, like,
interesting.
Let me see.
really just goes to show there's something for everybody out there.
There really is.
I mean, like, because I ask because, like, there's a time where all rom-coms were like, you need a bet. Can you lose a guy in 10 days? Can you make him fall in? Can I make this girl fall in love with me in 10 days or something? Like,
yeah.
It's
Those almost sound like
there's a
YouTube
whole
videos
genre.
now.
Take her to prom.
True.
Time for Mr. Beast to change his content format.
Wait, do you think that's what YouTube is gonna do? It's like a really deliberate like prank channel. Then
Oh God, that would be.
I'm gonna make this girl obsessed with me.
I mean, we're literally just describing pickup artist content at that point.
Yeah.
But now pickup artists in the form of like YouTube prank videos.
It's just like uses all these techniques to pick up women, and gets it. It's like, just a prank, bro.
It's a prank. No,
Got
that's actually literally just
'em.
an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Thought I was interested. Got him. Like, what the?
Make
Sounds
sure you
like
smash
awful.
that like button.
So, like I said, we put it in the thumbnail. I've not seen Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
You two have.
Mm-hmm.
Explain it to me right now. I don't, because like it's kind of interesting because I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen I've seen is like the poster child for like anime, shonen anime that doesn't really like sexualize its female characters at all. But then I see a lot of people thirsting over the guys in the show. Not so much the women, really, but I see a lot of people thirsting over the guys in the show. So what's up with that? As an outside observer, as someone who's like just generally unfamiliar with the show, is it just because like the guys are like overall cuter than the girls, or like what's going on there?
I think it's more everybody in the show is attractive.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, like, but you can clearly see that a lot of the screen time is on the male characters.
Mm.
But I don't know, like Gojo, I'm so sure that he's like made to look like he's from a shoujo.
He almost like the images I was seeing from like the thumbnail Mumi threw together. His like glasses and his eyes. He almost has like he almost kind of looks like Vash from Trigun a little bit now. Specifically like the
new Vash.
The new Vash.
Yeah,
the newer,
I can
like,
see that.
Fuckboy Vash.
Kirito Vash.
Kirito Vash. Kirito's not a fuckboy.
I feel like in line with what she's saying, like I feel like there's just more thirst trap content for the guys in the show.
So it kind of just becomes like a like a sort of like something like more so perpetuated by like the fandom than the show itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it is perpetuated by the show.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's very much like the guys want to be him and the girls want him kind of thing. That's why the guys are like, I don't know, it's all collectively agreed within the community itself. In a way that these guys are worth thirsting for, I guess.
You do bring up an interesting thing about like it's almost become like the poster child for like good female characters, and it's like they're good, like it's like they're fine, but it's like it's weird that people feel like that's like the only way to write like a good female character, or like that's just like the prototypical example they always bring up. Like, dog, I mean, you can have like more like I think the thing with like Jujutsu Kaisen girls is they're almost like asexual. Like they'll talk about like their experience a bit. There's like this big I think the scene that people typically like really enjoy is when I think it's Naburo. Is that what her name is?
Nobara, yeah.
Nobara, yeah. Is
Poser,
fighting the
Poser, fake fan.
Bitch, I got like 1,400 anime. I got a fucking
fake fan. Poser, tourist,
in my head.
Tourist. Cancel them. Cancel them,
I'm doing
boys.
good to remember that her name is NOB something or other.
This is the gatekeeping right now.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Let's go. I finally.
You've sown, now you must reap.
No, like she's fighting like this witch character. They're like talking about the difficulty of being a woman sorcerer in the universe, in the show's universe, right? And she's just like, I don't give a shit about any of that shit. I'm just gonna do what I'm doing. I'm just grinding it out here. Which is good. Like I don't want to like make it sound like that's not like a interesting take. Like that's definitely not something that's often tackled. But it's like I feel like people are almost holding it up as like that is the way to write like good female characters.
I don't know. It feels really forced, quote unquote, but like, I don't know. When I think of Jujutsu Kaisen women, I think of Maki mostly from the JJK0 movie.
She's the one with the glasses, right? In the show, yeah.
Yes. And I don't know, like just the fact that the girls feel more realistic, I'd say, like they do some fan service stuff, and like there are characters that are like like what's your ideal woman, and then like the main character is like, I want a woman with a fat ass or
Jennifer
something.
Lawrence. Yeah.
But the girls immediately are like, I don't know, it's not like hitting them with a book, or it's not like, it's just like
It feels more organic.
It feels organic, yeah. And I don't know, it feels like they were just written to, I don't know, just actually be there to help rather than to have just like diversity of gender, I guess, in characters.
Right, literally Sakura and Naruto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally why she was added, is like,
Yes.
oh, you could get more female readers if you have a female character.
You can get the edgy boys if we had an edgy boy character. Therefore, now we have Sasuke.
Have
Yeah.
that rivalry.
Yeah, instead of
Yeah.
like ticking the boxes, it's like, like here are actual people.
Yeah, in the context of shonen, Jujutsu Kaisen girls are very much a step up from Naruto
Or like My Hero
Fairy
Academia.
Tail. My Hero Academia. Yeah,
I forget.
Mhm.
I forget. Well, I guess in fairness to My Hero Academia, I forget most characters exist. There's a whole
Yeah.
subplot, a whole romance subplot between Deku and Uraraka in My Hero Academia,
Yes.
to the point that calling it a subplot is an overstatement, because it really just gets forgotten after a certain
Mhm.
point. Like, it's completely abandoned. It almost comes more about like Uraraka and Toga after a certain point. So it's like, what was your plan?
I don't know, like
Oh.
it's interesting because like people focus in on the female characters in Jujutsu Kaisen and like how they're presented.
Mhm.
I feel like they're kind of more indicative of just the general, like what makes Jujutsu Kaisen interesting, because like very much like how they're kind of like, oh no, I ain't gonna fucking worry about that shit. Like that's kind of an overarching thing in the show, where like they kind of take the I feel like it could be mixed on how you take it, because just judging from how you took Heavenly Delusion.
I haven't finished it yet.
Well, I'm talking about like how you took
I love
that-
Heavenly
that
Delusion.
part.
the creatures, yeah, and
Yeah.
how they were handled. And I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen handles them somewhat similarly. It's not necessarily the same. Like there's a distinction in how like Jujutsu Kaisen acknowledges that they're like from innocent people. Like they're like, Ina could probably explain it better than I could, but they're like people that have been like corrupted and like spirits in a way.
Mhm.
I'm confused on the point that we're making.
So you said you hadn't seen Heavenly Delusion, right?
No, I've seen it, so
Oh.
I'm like,
So context, Sai didn't like in Heavenly Delusion.
It's like episode
How?
2 or 3, maybe 4, where they
oh,
have
like the mom
Yeah.
of in the inn.
it's like they
yeah.
kind of like set up like, okay, maybe these like monsters have like more like complexity to them, and then they
Mhm.
immediately like rug pull, and you're like, no, they don't. No, they're just monsters. I'm like, that's annoying. I think like even more
You said
beyond
you're
like,
not done with it yet, right?
no.
But I don't want to spoil.
Okay, that's fine.
I think,
There's more to it. I see. Like,
Okay.
there is more to it.
but I feel like his problem is like how it's presented, I guess. Because there is more to it, but it doesn't. I don't know if it necessarily changes the context of like how those creatures are. Does that
Right.
make
I just
sense?
like the idea of just like ontologically evil monsters.
I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen's creatures kind of fall into that, but I feel like
Mhm.
it's refreshing in how it handles that to me, as far as like coming off of like Naruto and the like, where it's like, yeah, Naruto is cool and all, I guess, for redeeming every single fucking person
After the Talk No Jutsu.
Yeah.
Everyone gives Talk No Jutsu shit, but I feel like that's like my kind of thing, honestly. I really like that sort of like theming.
I don't hate it, but like I feel like Naruto just kind of abuses it a bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of undermines itself in some ways when it does it. Jujutsu Kaisen's kind of refreshing because like it kind of just waves off the pretense. Like there are layers to it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's just
that
like,
almost
oh,
sounds like it harkens back to something like Fist of the North Star. It's like, no, these guys are evil. I'm going to kill them.
Not quite. It's more like it's very fitting that people talk about the Dark Trilogy or whatever the fuck, because it is very much like Chainsaw Man.
It's very much like Chainsaw Man, yeah.
They have very kind of grungy feels to them in that regard. I feel like Chainsaw Man goes further with it though. Like it's just more trashy almost.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man is like full on like my 3 weed smorking girlfriends.
But yeah, it's Jujutsu Kaisen is similar, but it's like it's still very markedly like a shonen-esque kind of show. Like it still feels in line with like a Yu Yu Hakusho or something like that. It's not quite as far as Chainsaw Man, but it's just kind of refreshing how it handles like it's the morality and kind of like the deeper context of it, because like it. Like the female characters are like, nah, I don't give a shit about fucking, gender norms or whatever the fuck. I'm just gonna do my thing. It kind of does that with the creatures, where like a lot of them are just like, yeah, they're bad. We just take care. Like there's nothing we can do about this point, kind of thing. And they just kind of they don't overly convolute it, at least from what I've seen. Like I haven't read the manga, so
me neither. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even caught up. I watched the movie. I really liked the show actually.
But you haven't caught up on season 2?
I've watched. I watched the first episode, I think, maybe the first 2. But
what?
It's like one of those shows. Like with the first season, I just binged it, so I'm like.
It's hard to like come back in a way.
Yeah, like once it's finished, I'll probably just go binge it again. Like especially because I'm getting like a lot of time off here coming up.
Makes sense.
It's one of those like kind of fun shows, right? You just go watch it and binge it.
Yeah, it's shonen in like its purest form in a way.
Yeah, except more easily digestible than jumping into 300 episodes.
Yes.
Have you watched or read what's that one? Hell's
Paradise?
Hell's Paradise.
Yeah.
I have not. I tried, but like I couldn't make it past like 2 to 3 episodes, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It couldn't win me over.
I think we're about to say it because we watched the first episode together and I was like, this is kind of fucking.
Oh yeah. I was like,
it's pretty, but.
Well, there was a manga that like came out recently. Everyone was fucking like being like, this is the next. Like it had like a weird like ironic hype to it. Remember Kagurabachi? Before that first chapter even came out, people were like, "This is good. This is peak thick." It was almost had like a really explicitly we're comparing it to Morbius.
Oh,
because it's like comically edgy, I guess.
Kagurabachi is the Morbius of anime.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
How would you feel if you were the person that made that?
And you
just see everyone taking a piss. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know. Has this guy actually done anything else? He did something called Chain and something called Roku. These are just like small one shots, though.
Admittedly, I'm kind of old. I totally missed like the fucking jokes until like they were probably already like old.
Probably already old. Yeah, I mean, this has happened like months ago. When did this start? September? Yeah, we're already behind the train on this.
Jesus.
But it was just fun. I guess it's funny to me seeing like. I guess that's also what shonen is becoming. You talk about like the Dark Trinity or something like that. I don't know. Like what was it like?
The Holy Spirit. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like because like Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and
Hell's Paradise.
Yeah.
I like 2 of those.
Well, like, it's like, is that what like shonen is like morphing into now, or it's just kind of becoming like edgier, I guess.
Edgier
Possibly?
and shorter, even.
Yeah,
like,
definitely shorter,
even
yeah.
Demon Slayer, like it's also
Demon Slayer
pretty dark,
ended.
and then and it's also
I mean, Hell's
ending.
Paradise, I think, ended before the anime even came out.
See, that's something we can fucking capitalize on. I don't like Demon Slayer.
Me neither. Retweet.
Let's
Well,
go.
see, I want to like it, but every time I watch it, it just makes me disappointed and sad.
That's the thing. I think because like I watched Demon Slayer because it was like, oh, this is really well animated. And I was like, oh, it'd be a nice, like, fun show to watch with great visuals that I can enjoy. And I ended up like getting really irritated at it because it was like the thing about Naruto that got grating to me, except executed even worse. Like,
Which is
so the redeeming thing, right? In Naruto, it makes sense because they build it up as like parallels, and so like in the fight, like, you know, you look at like a Naruto versus Gaara kind of thing. It's like the fight becomes like a vehicle for like the conflict of ideals,
Mhm.
and so
Yeah.
it has like these kind of parallel themes and all that. It's really pretty decent writing, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at like Demon Slayer, it doesn't really do that.
Yeah,
It
it's
tries
like-
to cash in on this pathos of like redeeming these fucking demon things, but like it does it after they kill them.
Mhm. The empathy, the backstory happens. Tanjiro's feeling things.
Yeah, like that. It's like the forest of death fucking thing where he kills the giant fat thing, whatever. I don't remember what it was now. And it's like he's just a monster, and he fucking hate, like, there's no reason to give a fuck about anything. He's just like, oh, I ate your fucking senpai, I guess. And then like he decapitates him, and it's like immediately he's decapitated. It's like, oh, I just wanted to be loved or something. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, you're dead. Just fucking die.
Just die. And it's also like, I don't know, because they made it a law, I guess, in Demon Slayer, it's like, oh, to kill a demon, you have to cut off the head.
Mhm.
But, ooh, guess what? Every time he fights a demon, just cutting the head off doesn't work. Ooh.
Oh.
So how would you then like? What differentiates that? Because I haven't seen Demon Slayer, but what would differentiate that from like something like Osama ranking, which also like
I
often
love
goes out of
Osama.
its way to like humanize a lot of its monsters, like those like dogs. You get like you get like just a brief scene of them. Basically, it's like, oh no, they're actually not evil monsters. They're just hypnotized. It's completely like unnecessary, but it's still in there. I really like stuff like that.
See, I think with Osama, it's like Osama ranking, it's like they do it to subvert expectation more, while Demon Slayer, it's more to empathize and humanize a demon,
Okay.
I'd say. While, like, my favorite thing about, like, Osama ranking is the mom's character arc, where it's like, wow. Yeah, like, you were a bad mom, but no way, you actually... You're doing your best.
She starts off and you think she's like this like evil like stepmother type character who's like prioritizing
it's like
her own
taking
son
our own
over-
expectations of her.
Yeah.
But in Demon Slayer, it's like, oh,
It's like these guys are actually just
he was
good
trying
and
to
you
be a
killed
good
them.
brother.
Yeah,
I guess.
it's definitely the execute, because like the problem I had with Demon Slayer is like the redemption is specifically after the fight. Like the fight is like essentially over. Like he literally decapitates him, and like the problem is like it's trying to. It feels like it's trying to like cash in on this unearned pathos.
Yeah.
Like it's like
it's tier bait in a way.
Yes. Yeah, like poor tier bait, because like there's plenty of tier bait, like Anohana or something, like that's cry porn, I would call it.
Angel beats. Yeah,
Angel beat, but that's like the good kind of cry porn where it's like you go into it, you expect it kind of it it constructs itself pretty well. Demon Slayer is like, because like it backloads all of that information. Like literally, it's like the fight is over, he's decapitated. Which, if I'm being fair to Demon Slayer, the rationale is probably like, these demon things are kind of overtaken by this like bloodlust thing. They've lost their humanity. And it's not until like they're decapitated and like they're dying that they are able to like regain that humanity. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there might be something built in to explain it, but just the execution of it really irks me because it's
I don't care. You just had a good fight. Move on.
It's like, if you're gonna do this shit, do it during the fight, like when it can have like build stakes, right? So something like Osama ranking, like it doesn't really do that. Like it's like
it adds nuance or like depth in a way,
right,
to
like
the chaos and conflict.
Okay. Yeah, as opposed to like doing it after the conflict has ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the problem is not that they're being redeemed as much as how they are redeemed.
Yeah. I will say that, like, in terms of, like, because I do still like anime where, like, there are, like, just, like, evil monsters and stuff that are, it's like, oh, yeah, no, they're just evil. But I think, so what got to me about that Heavenly Delusion part, and similarly with something like Little Spider Girl, is that it kind of introduces the possibility that like these creatures could have like some sort of complexity. They're not just evil, and then it just does that in order to like take it away from you, essentially. So that's where I tend to get annoyed, because it's like, well, I don't find, like, I don't know, the goblins in Goblin Slayer to be very interesting. It's like, oh, there's evil goblins. All right. I'm not really upset by them just being evil. If they tried to introduce a situation where it was like, oh, maybe they're not actually evil, maybe they're like conditioned to be this way, and then it was later revealed to be like, nah, they're just evil, I think that would probably annoy me more.
Yeah, I guess there's a little more to Heavenly Delusion, but I don't know. I'm interested to see where like you'll end up.
I guess I'll finish it, and then I would have finished it for this episode had I known it would come.
There's another thing that I learned. It's kind of like a spoiler. I don't even know if there's going to be a season 2. I went on like their Wikipedia, the show's Wikipedia, to like look up like a character's name or something, and then I just got like spoiled. So don't do that.
Oh yeah, that's happened. That's happened to me before. I think that happened to me with a lot of things, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. And I actually won't even mention what those are in order to spare the listeners of, like, I don't know, morbid curiosity regarding those things. Yeah, I guess that's something I've definitely had to learn, is like, yeah, don't look up anything on anything you're ever watching if you don't want to be spoiled, because wikis do not care, and they
just
will
wanted to know her name.
It's the worst. I wanted to know a character's name. I wanted to know how old a character was, and then it showed me like their birth date and then their death date, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Thanks.
That's literally what happened.
I will say, I think the Attack on Titan wiki actually has like spoilers like built into like parts of like the character's like stat page on like the sidebar, where we'll have like spoiler information. Click to reveal, and it's like That's the gold standard right there. If Attack on Titan fans have ever done anything good for the world, it's that.
What would you say your favorite shonen are? Like, if you had like a top 3.
Ooh. Gurren Lagann has to be there for me.
Okay.
I'd also say maybe Inuyasha.
Okay. That's an interesting pick.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, people just don't generally pick Inuyasha. It's interesting.
It's one of the first, though. Like it's the one that popped in my head. I have a lot of love for Inuyasha. I don't know if it's like a favorite, but like I'm gonna go with it.
It was. I mean, it was a big deal back in the early 2000s. Like in the West, I feel like it was almost on the level of like a Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Dragon Ball Z obviously eclipsed it, but like at the time, it was. I mean, it was up there with almost Full Metal Alchemist and shit.
Full Metal Alchemist is definitely also there for me, and Code Geass, I'd say.
Not a Hunter x Hunter fan.
I also love Hunter x Hunter. But I don't know. I think the most impactful ones for me are those shows.
Mhm.
See, I think that's probably why I like the new shonen, like the Dark Trio or whatever. Is it feels like they're like of the lineage of more of like a Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho kind of lineage, more so than the Dragon
One
Ball
Piece,
lineage.
Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so interesting to like, because it's like, oh, there's a big three, and like those big three were definitely like, I don't know, they feel lineage of Dragon Ball in a way.
yeah.
Really, I
But-
think they're all, because like even like Yu Yu Hakusho, like Hunter x Hunter is very much directly inspired by like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a Naruto is inspired by Hunter x Hunter, but it's like it's almost got its own inspirations where like
Mhm.
a fairy tale feels like it's inspired by Naruto more so than
Oh,
Hunter
I
x
heard a
Hunter.
lot of parallels with One Piece and Fairy Tail.
that. Yeah,
Black
just
Clover
that general.
would be another one.
Yeah, that was very Naruto-esque from what I saw, which is
All the
really not a
yelling.
lot.
Then even Jujutsu Kaisen with Bleach. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Bleach is. I feel like it's the funny thing about like Togashi's stuff is it feels like his stuff was literally copied twice. Because like Naruto is very. I mean, Kishimoto was as an assistant on Hunter x Hunter, and then he literally goes and just kind of makes something that's very similar to Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, to the point that like I don't know, it's interesting the kind of like similarities between Sasuke and Kurapika.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
There's the hunter exam is basically just like the
Chunin.
Shounen exam.
Yeah.
Which I will give Kishimoto credit on that. That's actually written better than Togashi did. At least is like more complicated. I don't necessarily think it was like supposed to be that complicated in Hunter x Hunter. So it's just like, it's not like it's a criticism. Or
I guess
anything,
there's
but
like that aspect that like Illumi and Orochimaru are kind of similar because they're both like disguised in the exam arc and
well
in their respective exam arcs.
Orochimaru and Itachi because he's fucking Killua's older brother, like Sasuke's older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. You got like the spiders, which is basically just like the Akatsuki.
Katsuki, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot
Quirkier.
of the quirky Akatsuki.
Quirky Akatsuki.
There's a lot
Come
of
join the
of
fandom
comparisons.
troop. We have a clown guy who plays video games, a mummy.
I mean, the Akatsuki had a clown guy. I mean, Orochimaru kind of looks clownish. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And they got like a big plant.
A big plant.
You got a dude that likes making birds with clay. All kinds of weird shit going on. And
Bunch of
then Bleach,
goofy fellers.
and then Bleach kind of took a lot of inspiration from like Yu Yu Hakusho with the whole spirit world and all that. So it's like, yeah, like I just made like two of the big three and got no credit for it. But yeah, I like that the new ones kind of feel like they're taking from that influence and kind of leaning more in another direction than the big three.
Kind of like a
previously did.
later Hunter x Hunter, like more like a York new kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of arc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Chimera Ant.
Chimera Ant, yeah. It was specifically, like especially like later Chimera Ant arc.
It's just it feels refreshing to me. It gives me hope that like I can enjoy shonen.
There's actually
really
a pretty dark,
while.
fucked up shonen anime. Fist of the North Star.
You know, I
That
don't
you
like
don't
Fist of North
like?
Star.
You fucker.
I feel like I could just piss off so many people with my likes and dislikes.
You probably
great.
could. Yeah, we could probably just make like what are those like CBR articles where it's like top 10 anime are great and 10 that aren't. Just do like a video like that.
people can
But
just
it's like
debate me in the
deliberately
comments.
designed to upset people.
Well, I mean, we do that anyway. We're not even like
But imagine,
like-
yeah. So we do without trying. Now imagine if we did try.
you've
You
seen
don't know what we're
Komi.
capable of yet.
You've seen Komi can't communicate, right?
Yeah.
So I want your opinion. Because I don't know, you probably haven't seen the short we made on it, but like in the short, the context of it is we're comparing it to like Bocchi the Rock, and I was talking about how Bocchi's representation of like social anxiety I resonated with and appreciated more than something like Komi, specifically because like Komi is kind of slanted differently as far as its presentation, where like since it's a romance. The character is like kind of pursuing as a love interest. The social anxiety aspects have to be kind of presented in a lighter tone.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes off, it ends up coming off to be as like fetishistic because like it's not really presenting.
That's how I felt as well.
Okay, cool.
No,
I'm
yeah,
glad-
I agree. I agree with like Bocchi being like such a great example of like, I don't know, it puts how you feel into words.
People like will argue in the comments like, well, Komi is supposed to be like selective mutism and stuff. It's like I get that. It's just more like it's being presented as a problem in the show, but simultaneously trying to be like lighthearted with it. And so it just kind of doesn't like mesh together. Where like it being lighthearted kind of just undermines it being a problem for her. And so it comes off more as like, to me anyway, it comes off more as like just a kind of an excuse for Tadano to interact with her and then like be able to help her and be in this like position.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I took it. And then everyone like,
yeah. So
that,
I would
that
say
short
that,
does numbers.
yes, and this one will too.
They're just gonna it's the same fucking thing.
You're just rehashing it.
We make the same short way. So what I would say
It's
is
still a problem.
Well, it is because we got a lot of comments about this, and I will say, at least based on the first season that I've seen, is Tadano really pursuing Komi as a love interest? Because I feel like that, like, and based on everyone I've talked to about this, it really seems like that aspect is like either just not present or so de-emphasized that like a lot of people don't really even think of the story that way.
I feel like it's just one of those like anime things where it's like it's not they're presenting him as like a nice guy, right? So he's not wanting to like pursue her. He's just helping her. So it's because it's like that with a lot of like you look, I think of like a Love Hina or something. No one would say like there's not a romance in Love Hina or even On My Goddess, right? But like
Right.
those characters are very much just like nice guys, you know, they're around them and they're just helping them, but they're not
Like Araragi and
overtly.
Monogatari.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Exactly.
No. They're not overtly like sexual but like, you know, there's an obvious like element of like, oh, she's really pretty. So it's like, it's there. It's just not like overt, but like it ends up being the same difference, like the same result. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
that's how I Ina might have a different take.
I think I also definitely was like, oh, I think this might just be like, there were moments where I was like, I really went into it being like, it's a romance anime until like, I don't know. There's a moment where I was like, maybe this is just a slice of life, I guess.
Because it's not really, it doesn't really, I don't feel like those romantic aspects don't really go anywhere. At least not in the 12 episodes I saw.
Well,
I know Kai made a video on it and is talking about the overt romance elements of it. I don't know how deep that is into the series, but
okay. Kai's already been typing up a very long reply.
Kai does really like this show.
He really does.
He does not like me shitting on it.
Gotta have him on and debate him about it.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I guess to bring that full circle, yeah, it just goes to show having spicy takes really pays dividends at the end of the day, honestly. You know what you know what you have to put up with in terms of harassment, death threats, the potential doxing, swatting. It's all worth it in the end. And that's the real moral of the story.
Yeah, as long as you're getting paid, making that bank.
Yes.
Get that
What a
back.
takeaway.
What and that's yeah, what a weird moral. We've never had a moral message in this podcast before.
At the, for the like wrapping
For the
it
end,
up.
just to tie it all together, like a shitty episode of South, like just a regular episode of South Park. They all suck.
Oh, you weren't tied. Oh, I thought you were saying something else.
No, I just
tie
had
it
to
all
get in.
together. There is nothing to tie together.
No, there's nothing to tie it. Well, there's a noose.
Well, before we go, I feel like we have to mention. So you talk about in your latest video, basically the Jujutsu Kaisen community crack shipping stuff.
Oh yeah.
How have you ever seen the Willy Wonka X Howl's Moving Castle
No.
Taylor Swift AMV masterpiece?
No,
What the fuck is-
please share with the class.
What the fuck is
We-
crack shipping?
Crack
You know what-
shipping is when you take two characters that have zero chemistry,
It's
zero
completely
implication that
unrelated.
complete, like they could go as far as not being from the same show, or they can just be two characters that literally have zero, like why would you think that could be a ship? That ship
So-
will not sail.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
So almost like random, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like I
That's-
have a
that's
crack
awesome.
ship from My Hero for some reason.
Hmm.
And then TikTok has gone even further by making a Disney X Jujutsu Kaisen fan base of ships.
Jujutsu Kaisen. I feel like this has been a thing for like a long time though.
Yeah, there was like one of Taiga from Toradora and what's his name? He's big, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I posted the link
Well,
to
it's
the
good-
fucking Willy Wonka one.
It's good to have like a word to put to this. I feel like I've seen this like a lot on like DeviantArt and stuff, and my reaction has always been not like, I don't know why. Grimace from McDonald's lore is being
What?
shipped with Ryuko from Kill la Kill. I don't get what's going. Oh
I
yeah,
feel
the
like
Jim
that-
Carrey Taiga AMV. That one's awesome.
I feel like it acts as like an interesting like glimpse into like how database like consumption is kind of like manifested in the West.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
like we talked about like it's talked about a lot how like you can enjoy a character and like immerse yourself in just consuming a character. Like I think even your video on Gojo talks about this, where like you watch like you have memes about the character, videos, like you almost consume that character outside of the work that they're from.
Yes.
Or like you're almost like forming your own image of that character in your mind.
It's a parasocial relationship.
Yeah, like that's basically what like waifu and husbando kind of culture is, right? Like
Mhm.
you're got your interpretation of this character.
Yeah, you're idealizing them in a way.
Yeah. So like I feel like this crack shipping thing is like almost like you're taking your two favorite characters from that you've now removed from their context, like the fucking Howls and Willy Wonka one. Like that
Mhm.
she must just really it could be either just really likes Willy Wonka and just really likes Howl from Howl's Moving Castle, and it's just like, oh, they kind of have elements to them. They kind of walk similar. They probably get along, and then just as like convince themselves that they would be a couple in their head, And it's just like, that's just their reality, you know? Like, that's just how the characters are now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The TikTok one has gone is so far. Like, Kagurabachi's in it as well. Here, like,
From what I saw in your video, I almost feel like that has to be like tongue in cheek to some degree.
Yeah.
Like the Willy Wonka Howls one, I'm like, I don't know, that's probably legit. The one y'all were reading, I'm like, that might just be like someone having fun.
Yeah. Very, very fair.
Yeah, I feel like we had to share the Willy Wonka Howls crossover AV.
This is art.
Before we left. That had to be put out there.
Thank you for giving me this.
I had to share all the unsung gems with the world.
Like, just like even look at this. Like, what is I don't know what's going on anymore. The lore keeps growing.
Yeah, this really does just feel like reminiscent of like playing with dolls as like a kid.
Yes, you know? It's literally like that.
But now you've just given a kid access to Photoshop, and this is what they've done.
Photoshop was a mistake.
Photoshop was a mistake.
I'll just wait for like AI stuff to really take off. And
Oh
people
no!
gotta make animations with these people, these characters. Can't wait for the remake of Howl's Moving Castle and Willy Wonka x Taylor Swift with them in the AI movie together.